This is Weed Dipping Controllers, and this is the SmartFlex system tutorial. And we got a BDM40 right here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna first take off these bumpers, L1 and R1. And we're gonna need something flat edge right here. And we're gonna put our thumb over the top of it so it don't fly across the room. We're just gonna go up under it like this, pop it up. Same thing here. Now we got our bumpers off. We're gonna turn it around, so we gotta take this trim off. And we gotta start off with these corner pieces right here. We're just gonna go up on there just like that. All right, now we're gonna lift up one at a time on both sides, just a little bit on this side, a little bit on this side, till we get it up. We're gonna put it onto the side. All right, now we can get to all the screws we need to get to. Right here. One there, one there, one there, one there. Let's take these screws out. Okay, now we got our screws out. We're gonna turn it around. We got two tabs right here. We're gonna lift up on them. We're gonna put a little pressure on this corner of the faceplate. That way when we're lifting up the tabs, one don't go lock back in on you. So we're gonna lift up on the tab right here, here. Now we can separate the back shell. I'll put it to the side. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and take out our battery. We'll put our fingers as close as we can to this plug right here. So we don't want to pull it out by the wires. We're gonna wiggle just a little bit. Put the battery to the side. Now, we're gonna go ahead and unplug these flex cables right here on either side. And those go to your adaptive triggers. And we're not gonna need those anymore. So we're gonna go ahead and remove them. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these three screws out right here for the triggers. So I'm gonna go ahead and take them out. All right, now we got all the screws out. All the screws are the same size, so we don't have to worry about getting them mixed up or nothing like that. What we're gonna do is we're gonna lift up on this tab, the bottom of this bracket right here that the adaptive triggers motor is sitting in. It's got a little square hole right there, so it's locked in right there. So we're gonna lift up on the bottom right here. All right, now we got that loose. Now what we're gonna do is we gotta take this pin out. So we can't just take this bracket out on a BDM40. BDM30, you can just take it out. On a BDM40, if you take it out like that, you can risk breaking this bridge right here. It goes across. And if you do break it, it's not a big deal. Keep it, because that's what's gonna hold your pin in, and it's still got that little piece right here that you can screw down. But this is the way that you can do without breaking it. So we wanna take that pin out. So we can even get our screwdriver. Just go up in here like this. Just wiggle it like this back and forth. Push it back down. See, now that pin, do you see it sticking out a little bit now? A little bit more. So now we're gonna grab a hold of that pin. Kind of grab a hold of the bracket too. That way it don't come up with pin. So we just wanna take that pin out. All right, now we got the pin out. The trigger's just gonna come out. And now this bracket is just gonna come on loose like that. Very, very easy once you take that pin out. See, it's got this little piece in right here. This right here puts pressure on the bottom of your trigger. It's for the adaptive triggers. We don't need that anymore, so we're gonna take that out. Then it's got a gear in here. We can also go ahead and take that out. Not gonna need it anymore. Sometimes it just falls out. You can even take that circuit board out on the side of the adapter triggers. You can even take that out if you want. You can even take the motor out. We're gonna go ahead and pop this one back in. All right. So you can even take the motor out, make your controller lighter, like this right here. You wanna cut the wires as close as you can to the solder joints on the circuit board. And then you're gonna take, once we take that out like we just did, then you can take these screws out. See these two little screws? Tiny little screws. Then you just pull the motor out. And then all you're left with is the bare bracket. And it's gonna make your controller a whole lot lighter. And you're not gonna, you don't need it anymore. That's the motor to the adapter triggers. But you don't have to do that. But I do recommend, taking the flex cable out to it and taking out the gear and taking out this. Just go ahead and taking that out. And then you're gonna have to take out this rubber piecing right here. This was for your stock triggers and bumpers. Not gonna do that anymore, so we're gonna take that out. All right, now we can go ahead and put our screws back in to our bracket. All right, we got all our screws in. I like to say too, if you don't have a screwdriver that's got a magnetic tip on it, if you got a pair of tweezers, like I said, these tweezers make the job a whole lot easier. You can take the screw with the tweezers, put the screw in the hole. Just a little tip right there. All right, now we got this side prepped. Now we're gonna go ahead and do the other side. All right, now we got both sides prepped. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and unplug this flex cable. This goes to our speaker. And what I like to do is I like to put my thumb over the top of it. That way it don't come out of the battery holder, because it's got a little part right here that it locks into on the battery holder. So I like to put my thumb over the top of it and then unplug it. That way it stays in there. And then when we go to put back everything, this makes it easier. So then we take this screw out of the battery holder then. And see, it stays in there. So we just put it to the side. Now we can unplug this flex cable right here. This goes to our microphone. We're gonna unplug it. And I like to go ahead and just take it out. That way it doesn't get pinched up with the circuit board. Take it out, we'll put it to the side. Now we don't have to worry about it getting pinched up with the circuit board. Now we're gonna unplug this flex cable right here that goes to our touchpad. Okay, now we're gonna lift up on the circuit board. You can press right here on the thumbsticks and lift up. It's also got tabs right here on the sides. Got a little tab right here, keeps it locked in. Now we get the circuit board. We're just gonna lift it up just a little bit. All right. Now we can get our SmartFlex system and see, as you can see, it's got a little remapper, and that remapper is just gonna go on top of that stock remapper. You see right here. It's gonna plug in right there. But first, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our bumpers. We're gonna put them in first. So we wanna go in over the spring, excuse me, in under the spring. We wanna go under the spring. We don't wanna go over the top of it. We don't want the remapper part going on top of the spring. So we wanna make sure it goes under. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and do this one. Make sure it goes under the spring. Push it down. All right, now we can get our remapper and we can plug it into our stock one. It was right on the top of it. All right, now we got it on top of our stock remapper. I'm gonna pull our circuit board back up, and our speaker fell out. So we're just gonna put it back in, just like that. So it's got the little padding on the speaker. You wanna make sure the padding's on the left side. It's got little prongs on the right side of the speaker that's gonna touch on the circuit board right here. Very simple. When we put it down, make sure all this is out of the way. We put our circuit board back down. All right. Now we can plug back in our touchpad flex cable. Okay, now we can go ahead and put this flex cable in that we took out so it wouldn't get pinched in the circuit board. Go ahead and put that back in. And we can go ahead and put it where it goes. So then we can hold it while we pull it the rest of the way up. And then we can go ahead and plug that in. All right, we got that flex cable back in. Now we can put our battery holder back on. See, we already have our other flex cable. It's already on the battery holder. So it's just gonna make it a lot easier. All right, now that we got it screwed in, we're gonna place our thumb back over top of that flex cable. That way it don't come out when we're plugging it back in. All right, we got it plugged back in. Now we can go ahead and put back on our triggers. You wanna make sure the bumpers are seated down. All right, so our triggers, this is the point where we put our trigger inserts in. Since they're already off, this is gonna make it a whole lot easier. So we got our trigger insert right here. And it's got a rounded part, and on the back, it's got a flat spot. And it'll say SL. That's gonna let us know that we put this one on the L2. And see, it's got two little holes on the bottom of the trigger here. And it's got this rounded contour of the trigger right here. So we're gonna place the trigger insert with the rounded part that goes with the flow of the trigger. And it's got a little cutout for the spot right here. It's got a little tab that sticks off. We're gonna put our L2 back on. And see, it's got a little piece that comes off right here. So it kind of hooks under the trigger. So it goes like that and goes right over top. Then that's when we put our pin back in. Real simple. Make sure our pin pushed all the way in. See, now we can get our mouse switch, and we want to come in from the side. So you just want to come in right here from the side, and it slides into place. Now we're going to do the other side. And see, just like this one's going to say SR, and that R's means for your R2. Now we got that on. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pop our mouse switch in from the side. Now we can put our battery back on. Now we got our battery back on. Now we can go ahead and put back on our back plate. And when you put back on the back plate, you want to go over the top. That's where you want to start it, over the top of the triggers. And it kind of hooks in there like that. And then we turn around and we're gonna snap those tabs back in if they're not already snapped in. We'll push it like that. Now we can put the rest of our screws in. All right, now we got all our screws in. Now we can put our bumpers back in. Now we can put our trim back on. We want to start with the 2 points right here on the trim. So I'll go right in underneath that touchpad, go over the thumbsticks. We'll push down just a little bit, not all the way. Then we're going to put in our corner pieces. And then we're going to push down here in the center. Now we're going to be able to aim faster, shoot faster, swap weapons. And on your bumpers, if you put them on and you snap into your bumper and it doesn't click, take back off your bumper, and what you're going to want to do is you're going to move it to the outside, and you're just going to gently just move it over, just gently move it over to the outside, and then it'll start clicking. Sometimes it happens. So if that ever happens to you, the same thing with this one, you just want to go push it to the outside, just gently. You know, you don't have to be real rough with it, and be just perfect. And that's how you do your Smart Flex system.